You are listening to the Carolina Catholic Media Network Sacred Heart Share-A-Thon. Operators are standing by right now to take your tax-deductible pledge. Call 1-800-857-2909. That's 1-800-857-2909. Or donate online at carolinacatholicmedia.org.
Welcome back to the Carolina Catholic Media Network Share-A-Thon Pledge Drive, the Sacred Heart Pledge Drive. And we're wrapping up today, which is the Feast of the Sacred Heart. We've been going since Wednesday, and we'll go through 6 p.m. this evening. Raising money, keeping Catholic radio alive and well in Charlotte. Lots of great local content. Been running for about 3 years here in the Charlotte area, and want to continue running for another 3 and 30 years. We'll keep it online. Lots of good content, more content than most local Catholic radio stations across the country. We're an EWTN affiliate, and you've been listening to a little bit of the EWTN feed coming in. If you are inclined and able to make a donation, you can call in. The phone number is 1-800-857-2909 with your tax-deductible donation. You can also go online to carolinacatholicmedia.org. We would appreciate any and all donations. We just wrapped up with the conversation with Father Colin Blatchford from Courage International. We had a great talk about the Catholic perspective on Pride Month. We're going to be talking to Dr. Ray Garundi at 11 a.m., so make sure to tune back in for that. But before we get there, I've got a great special friend coming in for a long time. He is very involved with the Knights of Columbus, been involved with the Catholic Men's Conference of the Carolinas. We once gave an award to one of our older Knights a few years ago, and we gave him an award that was called the Past Everything Award. And I think that award could probably be handed off to my next guest coming up. He is a past district deputy with the Knights of Columbus in North Carolina. He is a transitioning out Grand Knight, but he's also a past Grand Knight. So he's a current Grand Knight, and he's also a past Grand Knight. He's probably been many other things. He has coordinated the Catholic Men's Conference of the Carolinas for several years. Passed that torch on to me. It's kind of interesting because now he's passing on the Grand Knight position to me. And here I am and here I sit, which that relationship really grew into a relationship with Carolina Catholic Media. And here I am with a weekly show on the radio station. And he is now getting ready. I think we heard within about 24 hours going to be the next state secretary of the Knights of Columbus of North Carolina. It is a great honor and privilege to have my friend Sergio Miranda back with me. Sergio, how are you doing today?
I am good. Glad to be here. Thank you for that introduction.
Oh, great. Yeah. So I appreciate you taking the time to do that, be here with us. We're trying to make sure we have awareness for Catholic radio. I mean, when I found out about it a couple years ago, I didn't know it existed. And we've had some great momentum over the last couple of years, and we're just trying to extend that awareness and raise funds, make sure we can keep this content on the air. So many great things. Just Catholicizing. I have not been able to say that word. Catholicizing. Media. Using the tool that's out there at our disposal. We can look at all the bad things that come from media and all the bad things of the internet, or we can use it for our advantage and to spread the gospel and spread our Catholic faith. So that's what we're here. That's what we're doing. So tell us about this next step and this next journey, because I think you're going from treasurer to secretary, right, with the Knights of Columbus?
That's correct. So I've been on the state council for almost 6 years now, and moving into the next position. So basically the way we work, the officers, you start at the bottom with warden, move into advocate, and then treasurer, then state secretary, which I'm about to take, and then into state deputy at this in 2 more years. So actually with that means everyone else is moving up, and that means also for North Carolina that we do have now we'll have now a new state deputy, which is Chris Losak out of Apex.
Okay.
So he's moving into the position and definitely moving forward with a lot of good things that are going on for the Knights of Columbus, North Carolina.
That's awesome. So I guess a lot of people probably heard of Knights of Columbus. They know it's probably a men's organization, and they may have seen different little fundraisers around their parish, or maybe different events. For someone who's so well invested in the Knights, just tell us, for someone who maybe has never heard of the Knights, what are the Knights of Columbus?
The Knights of Columbus is a fraternal organization that's associated with the Catholic Church. In fact, we are probably 2 million strong plus right now, so that will probably make us the largest Catholic fraternal organization that's out there in the world. So, what do? We are there for charity and also helping the parishes at the local level. At the state level, we're there to help with the diocese. And then at the international level, we're there to help with with the Vatican and anything else that's going on in the world. We've done a lot with Iraq to build cities there, and now we are full into helping with the Ukrainian effort.
Right.
We have councils in Poland and also Ukraine to be able to connect the charity that we're giving.
That's great. Yeah, the Knights, they're always there. If ever there's a need around the church or community or in our world, the Knights are there. They will always be there, helping rebuild and minister and just provide prayer and fellowship and physical manual labor. The Knights are such a great organization. I myself have been a Knight for about 18 years. I think I joined in 2004, and I think we're. So I think I met your dad. I think that's something I brought before. I think I met your dad before I met you. So I think you joined. He got you in.
That's right.
Florino. It's one of my favorite people. It's just that man has such a great smile and was just a wonderful man to be around with the Knights. So you joined, I guess, following in his footsteps. I was talking to Frank Kona yesterday on my show and just talking about the importance of fathers and that role model and setting an example for our kids. And starting in the domestic church, Frank, followed his father into the Marines, and followed him into the Catholic Church. And one of the greatest things he said that he was able to do from this previous Father's Day was go to Mass with his dad. I mean, what an amazing thing. I mean, that's my goal, right? That's my goal when my kids are no longer with me and they've grown up and they've moved out. That we'll still be able to share that faith together. So such a great story. How was speaking of Flo? How was your Father's Day? Did you guys spend some time together?
Yeah, we got to spend some time together, which was great. Just being with families is always a great time, whether it's Father's Day or any other weekend or any day that we're all together. So it's absolutely wonderful just to spend that time.
That's right.
Just talk about anything. It doesn't have to be anything in particular. Share a meal, have fun, talk to my mom, go out in the garden. It's always something. Those little things are the things that we really thrive on.
It is for sure. And, like I said, it starts in our homes, that domestic church. And then from there we can go out. If, we lead our kids or we lead our wives and we go out into society, we go out into our church, to our communities, and that's an important thing, with the Knights, that's there, and it's such an important part these days with such an attack on the family and the attack on Catholic manhood. If you look at any media, television, just masculinity and manliness is just is crushed. It's the dad is portrayed as a Homer Simpson caricature. Just this kind of dumb, withdrawn guy that just goes along to get along and just kind of a stumbling block to everyone in the family. And of course we know that is not how, and what we are called to. We're called to lead so much, and I'm finding more and more, especially these days, men want support. They want fellowship. and conversations that I would have with typical guys. We don't talk a lot. Guys don't talk a lot. We kind of just, we get in there, we get the blinders on, we focus on the task at hand, and we don't really veer off the path very often, and we kind of isolate ourselves. We think we can handle everything on our own, but with that, nothing is further from the truth. And small conversations that I would have with guys, it seems recently that would be maybe 3, 4, 5 minute conversations just to get to the point, and hey, I need to ask you a question about this. And even in business, guys that I'm talking to, that maybe I would just, if I needed a quick answer on a business situation, these conversations are turning to 30 and 45 minutes. I was telling my wife the other day, it's like, man, I gotta be careful here. I'm like, I don't want to start neglecting what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm having these conversations, but what is more important than that? But that makes me think that how much we need fellowship, how much we need other men. And the slogan for our men's conference, is iron sharpens iron. We get dull when we're by ourselves. I know you were involved with the men's conference for several years, and you've experienced that, and you've seen what it's like to bring the men together. And now, being involved in such a high capacity with the Knights of Columbus, what are you seeing from your view?
Just from the perspective of the Knights of Columbus, we are definitely changing. I mean, the organization as a whole has been around since 1882. So we've been around for a while, and we're definitely going through an evolution of things as the times change, so does the organization change. So you brought up earlier about the family. So the Knights of Columbus is actually changing more towards the family versus just the man who is part of the organization, but they're moving into the family. So even, I'm sure if folks might have heard of the degrees that you have to go through. Yes. That's now opened up to the family. They're inviting your entire family to come to your exemplification, to be a part of it, and to see what the Knights are all about. You get that lesson about the Knights at the exemplification, and so does your family, which is absolutely great. So they can see what their father is about to do and about to embark on, and the challenge that they've been given. So that's definitely a change in the Knights of Columbus as an organization to start including the family. So even on the state level, for me, we're trying to make all of those programs, even the convention, we're bringing in those families. Bring your wives, bring your kids. We have things for them to do during these events. So even at the parish, bring your kids for that donut Sunday or that pancake breakfast. We want them there. We want the entire family to be there. There's no reason to separate that man out from your family, because that family is part of you as well.
Yeah, and I think that can be said, and I think we're doing a better job at that in our council, with engaging in, like you said, the direct proximity family, your domestic church family, but also your church family, because we can get lost. If the Knights just have their kind of thing going over here, and every other kind of ministry has their thing, but there's not an engagement. And so seeing a return to that engagement with family, but not just our direct family, but also our church family, and being there, on a monthly basis, knowing that the Knights are going to be there for the donuts, knowing that they're going to be there during Lent for the fish fries. That's just something that I think it became more difficult. I think people are just coming back to some of those traditional type activities that I think for a while, I think we got so consumed. And I really believe that there's a return. I think there's a return right now. We're seeing it in a political realm. I think there's a return we're seeing in our religious realm, and that extending down even to our church family, where everyone thought they were so busy, but we've been so busy and preoccupied with so much garbage, busy. I've heard there's an acronym I heard years ago. I think it was, being under Satan's yoke, right? We're just, I'm so busy. If we're not careful and we're just consumed and we're just chasing our tail constantly with what the world says we should be doing and all of these activities, but we're neglecting especially our direct family, and then after that, is our church family. So being able to engage and know that we're there, I think we're seeing a switch. I think we're seeing we've had the smartphones, we've had the technology, and maybe, I think maybe the pandemic and the shutting down, as much as we could get into some arguments about whether that should have happened or not. if we look at some of the fruits that are now maybe starting to be revealed, like, it's not all about work. It's not all about technology. It's not all about following the latest news beat that's going on, but really peeling back the onion and looking at what's important. And I think for me, that's what I found during the pandemic. It was a time back to have meals with my family, to pray with my family, spend more time doing those things around the house instead of just constantly running and going. And I think people found that. I think because without that, it would have just continued to spin out of control. And that was like a momentary pause on time, and we got to really look around and see. What do you think? Yeah, what do you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And the part that I kind of spin on, even with the pandemic or how you handle yourself, even in business, right? Anywhere you go, there's a lot of change from, it's not so much what you do, but how you do it, right? No one in 10 years is going to care that you stayed late for work, right? But
Right.
what they do remember is if you were if you did things well, if you are nice to you're compassionate with how you operate, and compassionate in your relationships with people at work. So those are the things that people do remember, and those are the things that are important. It's not so much the, hey, I got that project done, or hey, I got this I stayed late to finish whatever. No one remembers those things. It's how you do that. And that's the same with the family, right? Those things are, it doesn't matter in the long run, in 10 years, if all the dishes got done, but they'll remember if you were there for the dinner, or for that birthday party, or their swim meet. That's what's important, is
Yeah.
how you do it, and not so much what you do.
Right. Yeah, with the men's conference, as I got back involved, I started kind of focusing on themes that were asking questions. Because if there's just, if you're not asked a question, that begins a conversation. And so, like last year, we had, where are you going? Just having guys stop, like, well, where am I going? What am I doing in life? And this year coming up there for the 2023, it's going to be Que Quereris. Who are you looking for? Prior to that, we had, what are you looking at? And so there's an engagement. When you have a question, you have a conversation, because there's an engagement, and it provokes thought and provokes conversation. So that's kind of, I think we're seeing that. I think people are starting to ask those questions. Do I need to be so committed? Yes, we need to be committed and hardworking, of course, but do I need to be putting in those extra 5 or 6, 7 hours and neglecting my family and missing dinner? Or do I need to be glued to my cell phone and social media? Or can I, unplug for a little bit? So it's great.
Absolutely.
Yep. Well, I think we're coming up on the top of the hour. It goes by so fast.
Amen. Yes.
If anything else you want to add to this conversation before we jump off? I mean,
no, I'm just honored to be here. Thank you for bringing me on and talking about the Knights of Columbus and family, and everything else in between. So I certainly appreciate that. It's definitely an honor for me to be here. Thank you.
So let's before we close out, let's talk about the slogan of the Knights of Columbus to close it out. Tempus fugit, memento mori. Right? Translate that for everyone out there, because that's what we're talking about, and that's what the Knights are all about.
Correct. Yeah. So tempus fugit, memento mori. So time flies, remember death. Right. So that means that it's don't wait for that time, the next few minutes or the next day to be with your family or to be good. Right. Don't wait for that. Do it now. Time flies. Right. And we just spent like 30 minutes together and just talking about it, and it just went by just like that. So the same thing with life. Don't wait. Be with other people. Be that person. Be with your family. Don't wait. Yeah, time flies. Definitely.
Amen, brother. Hey, happy blessed feast of the Sacred Heart to you. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and thanks again for coming on. And we will be catching up soon.
All right. Thanks, Jason. God bless.
God bless, Sergio.
You are listening to the Carolina Catholic Media Network Sacred Heart Share-A-Thon. Operators are standing by right now to take your tax-deductible pledge. Call 1-800-857 2909. That's 1-800-857-2909. Or donate online at carolinacatholicmedia.org. We now rejoin network programming already in progress.